On Tuesday, May 24th, 19 young children and 2 adults were killed in a school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. It took over 90 minutes to stop the shooter, but it has now been revealed that some police officers breached the school to get their own children out before the shooter was taken down. Texas law enforcement officials have changed their stories so many times, I wouldn't be surprised if we find out they personally escorted the gunman into the school. This was the deadliest American school shooting since the 2012 massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary. This is the 27th school shooting this year. We have had 213 mass shootings in less than 6 months of 2022. You don't need to be enrolled in Ron DeSantis' School of Banned Mathematics to know how bad these numbers are. The Uvalde shooting happened just 10 days after the horrific shooting at the Buffalo supermarket on May 14th. We unfortunately live in a country where guns outnumber people and gun violence has become an everyday occurrence. The correlation between the number of guns in America and the number of gun-related deaths in America is undeniable. Maybe this slaughtering of innocent children is a wake-up call for Republicans. They are the pro-life party after all, and they've said on multiple occasions they want to save the children. I'm sure by now Texas Senator Ted Cruz has offered a solution.
And one of the things that everyone agreed is don't have all of these unlocked back doors. Have one door into and out of the school.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Have one door into and out of the school.
His solution to mass shootings is one door. I mean, why stop there? Let's make it a doggy door instead. That's small enough for children to fit through. You know, for a brief moment, I really thought Ted Cruz was going to be helpful. And then I remembered that Ted Cruz also tried to ban dildos. Okay, forget Cancun Cruz. Let's try Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton.
We need to continue to try to focus on preventing this. We can't stop bad people from doing bad things. They're going to violate murder laws. They're not going to follow gun laws. I've never understood that argument. But we can harden these schools. We can create points of access that are difficult to get through. We can potentially arm and prepare and train teachers and other administrators to respond quickly, because the reality is we don't have the resources to have law enforcement at every school.
Hold on. The GOP, who is notorious for banning books and not giving teachers school supplies, wants to give teachers guns instead? Giving teachers guns and placing armed guards in schools does not protect students from mass shootings. In fact, one study found that schools with armed guards were more likely to have a higher death toll during a mass shooting. But in Ken Paxton's fantasy world, a teacher arrives on their first day at Remington Rifle Elementary and goes through their classroom checklist. Construction paper? Check. Erasers? Check. 9mm Smith & Wesson? Check. And then of course, when that plan ultimately fails, arming those children that Republicans forced women to birth is their backup plan. Because nothing stops a bad guy with a gun like a child with a gun. And I can see it now. Little Timmy goes off to school with his bulletproof backpack, an AR-15, and a Toy Story lunchbox full of bullets. I'm sorry, but the fact that we live in a country that assumes a random civilian should risk their own life to save another is incredibly deranged. But now that I think about it, maybe we shouldn't take advice from the guy that's currently being investigated by the FBI? Also, how did this guy just win his primary? Anyway, why don't we just go further up the leadership chain and try Texas Governor Greg Abbott? Oh, here's a tweet from Abbott where he talks about gun ownership. I'm embarrassed. Texas number 2 in nation for new gun purchases behind California. Let's pick up the pace, Texans. At NRA. Okay, that's embarrassing. I didn't fully read the tweet until right now. Okay, here's a video of Abbott signing gun legislation in 2021. I'm sure this prevents future shootings.
I'm signing 7 laws that protect Second Amendment rights in the Lone Star State.
Joined by Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, House Speaker Dade Phelan, several Republican lawmakers and members of the National Rifle Association, that new laws will expand gun rights for Texans. The first law he signed is what was being called the Constitutional Carry Bill, which gets rid of the licensing and training requirement for Texans who are 21 years or older to carry a pistol.
Those who believe and support Second Amendment rights, we support the right of every law-abiding American to be able to have a weapon to defend themselves.
Jesus Christ, does any Texas lawmaker actually care about human life? Don't answer that. The sad truth is there have been 8 mass shootings in Texas over the past 13 years. All while lawmakers have steadily loosened restrictions on carrying firearms. Marjorie Taylor Greene and every other deplorable Republican want to point fingers and blame others like they're just playing a game of Clue. I'm sorry to ruin the game, but it was not Professor Woke in the library with CRT. It was the gun. It's always been the fucking gun. Republicans love to blame mental illness for mass shootings. So if it's such a problem like they say it is, then why haven't they done anything to care for those suffering? If it's such a problem, why did Trump make it easier for those with mental illness to get guns when he rolled back an Obama-era regulation? If it's such a problem, why didn't they say no? I'll tell you why. It's because Republicans don't care about you or anyone else. So when exactly will Republicans start caring? 500 mass shootings per year? 800? 1,000? How many more innocent lives have to die because of some weird fetish that Republicans have with guns? 90% of Americans support background checks on gun purchases, but Republican politicians? They're holding our country hostage at gunpoint. We are tired of waiting. We need to vote these politicians out of office, because if we don't, they will continue to send their empty thoughts and prayers and happily take donations from the NRA and speak at their conventions just days after a mass shooting where children were murdered. The time for gun reform is past due. We need to stand up and make our voices heard. A great example of this is when Beto O'Rourke confronted Greg Abbott at his conference for the Uvalde mass shooting.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Sit down.
You're out of line and an embarrassment.
Sit down and don't play this.
The next shooting is right now, and you are doing nothing.
No, he needs to get his ass out of here. This isn't the place to talk this over.
This is totally predictable when you...
Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Please leave this auditorium.
So I leave you with this. In a world of Greg Abbotts, be a Beto O'Rourke.